What's up, guys? I'm JJ.
I'm Javier.
And this is PM Football. We are going to be going through the new coaches that have been hired in the NFL. We're going to go back and forth in alphabetical order and give our grades of what we thought of the hire, whether or not we think they're going to succeed, and pretty much just talk about what we think their teams are going to look like next year. With that being said, we're going to start with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, so Mike LaFleur getting his opportunity, following in his brother's footsteps, being a head coach in the NFC now for the Arizona Cardinals. I am giving this a C+. It is my second lowest grade out of the entire list here. I don't think he's a bad coach. Like, I'm not saying this because I have zero faith in him. I just think it's kind of tough when you're an OC on a team where the head coach calls the plays. And you can say that about any team where the head coach calls the plays. For me, I just don't. It wouldn't be my first choice for a guy to lead my organization when he didn't necessarily call the plays on the side of the ball he was on. But I still think there could still be some optimism there for Cardinals fans. Like, it's something new. It's different from Gannon. It's the exact opposite of Gannon, if anything. You come from two respectable coaching trees under Shanahan and under McVay. So, like, there's hope there. It's just out of all the options, I probably would have gone somewhere where he himself called the plays for that side of the ball.
Yeah, I'm on the complete opposite end of you here. I know you didn't give it a super high grade, and you said it was second to last.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, full transparency, I didn't love very many of these hirings. So
I'll give you that, yeah.
This grade is going to reflect that mightily. I'm giving the Mike LaFleur hiring a D-. He is a disciple of the Shanahan tree. He worked with Shanahan with the Browns, the Falcons, and the Niners, and then he ended up following Saleh to New York to become the offensive coordinator for the Jets for 2 years while he was there. That worked out horribly for him. He was the coordinator, was not helping out in Zach Wilson's development at all. It just looked really, really rough. And then following the firing of them at the Jets with Saleh and him, he moved to the Rams and was under McVay for 2 years as his offensive coordinator. Going back to what you were saying, it is not good at all, to me, in my opinion, that he's the offensive coordinator that did not call plays. Yeah. I just can't get behind hiring a guy to be a head coach of a football team that has had 2 years of full-time calling play experience with the New York Jets, and it was horrible. And then you go to the Rams, and you're not even the guy. You're the coordinator, but you are not calling the plays. So, yes, you're learning a lot of things, and I mean, maybe there's some ray of sunshine in there if you want to look super, super deep. But to me, this is just very grasping at straws, and I feel like they hired the wrong coordinator from the Rams. If I'm the Cardinals, I would have hired Chris Shula. I know you had Gannon, and you were trying to shy away from going the defensive route again. But, I mean, even at that point, like, if you're going to go LaFleur, why not hire Shieldhouse?
There's a lot of things I agree with you about, and there's a lot of things I disagree. I would say a lot, but there are some things I disagree with you about. I agree that Chris Shula would have been my top choice. I know if I was a team looking for a head coach, honestly, he would have been on top of my list. I have a lot of respect for Chris Shula and a lot of things that he's done. So, honestly, I'm with you there. That probably would have been my top choice. With him not succeeding the Jets, I'm not excusing it because, like, yeah, it didn't work out.
Yeah, and I know where you're going to go with this.
Who has succeeded with the Jets? You have Zach Wilson as your quarterback, hasn't really panned out to even be a good quarterback, not even really a decent quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, he just didn't have the tools there to succeed. And I'm not saying he's, like, forgiven all that. Like, you're the coach at the end of the day, you run the offense, you do have some sort of blame and say in all of that. However, like, to look at this and to criticize the hiring because of what happened with the Jets, I think is kind of unfair. Now, to criticize him about, like, you weren't calling plays as an OC, I think that's fair game. Like, I agree there. Like, you would like your coordinator who's now becoming a head coach to at least call plays. And he didn't, but I do think he learned a lot under one of the greatest offensive minds the game has ever seen. So maybe that will translate. Who knows?
Last thing I'll add, the reason I'm giving this grade such a low or the hiring such a low grade is I just think there were significantly better offers and people to go
I'll give
after.
you that. Sure, it definitely wasn't my first choice. I could give you that. But to be fair, a lot of these guys weren't even in my like ballpark of guys I would hire. Some were. Like, I'm not saying all these hires were bad. We'll get into some of them, but I could say half, maybe a little less than half, were guys I'm like I would have never even given them an interview. Was LaFleur one of them? Maybe. I don't know. I know for sure personally, I would not have gone through with making him my head coach.
So to wrap that one up, you gave that one a
C+.
and I have a D-. Moving on to the Atlanta Falcons, Kevin Stefanski.
I gave that one an A-. That is actually my third best hire of this cycle. I know a lot of people are criticizing him about how everything ended with Cleveland. To be fair, look with what he was given offensively in Cleveland, and look what he successfully did in the beginning years of Cleveland. Like, he won Cleveland a playoff game. You could count on one hand the history of coaches that were able to say that. He took the Browns further than they could have ever dreamed of. So I do think he is a solid coach. He just had to deal with a lot of BS in Cleveland. Again, I do have two guys who I thought were better hires, but I still think this is a very solid hire. I gave it an A-.
I have Stefanski as a B+. He is also my third ranked hire. I agree with you with a lot of things you said. He's a former coach of the year.
Yes, I didn't even mention that. Yeah,
he won a coach of the year with the Cleveland Browns.
Insane.
That is telling you things that you need to know.
He knows ball.
He knows what he's doing offensively. Before he was hired by the Browns, he was a coordinator for the Vikings for a year, and that was a huge leap with the Kirk Cousins and all of them, and that's the reason he was hired by the Browns. He did really good things with the Browns. Later in his time, just everything started hitting the fan, and he was pretty much fired because of the team.
I was about to say, honestly, I blame a lot of that on the GM.
Yeah,
he did not put that team in a place to succeed.
He was the scapegoat for the
Absolutely.
most part.
Absolutely.
I would say later down in the last couple seasons, I would say the play calling became a little bit more predictable, just because as a head coach, you've been a head coach for four years at that point.
That it's like you're handcuffed. Like, look what they had on offense. Like,
and it wasn't
come
even
on.
like as bad as you could say the offense was as a roster this year. They still produced at a pretty good number with what they had.
Yes.
And by good, I mean they weren't last. Like,
yeah, fair point.
they did what they can. It's exciting to see what he's going to be able to do with a running back like Bijan. Got to kind of figure out what you can do at the quarterback position a little bit, but you got weapons in Drake London.
Correct in seeing that they said they were going to release Kirk Cousins?
Yep.
So at least that solves at least half of the questions. You still have a quarterback on a rookie deal that showed flashes his first year.
That probably won't be ready for
a
the start
little
of the
less
season.
flashes his second year, but I'm not saying give up on hope on him. That just tore his ACL for the fourth time.
Yeah.
Like, there are a lot of questions there in Atlanta. He definitely has a mess he has to fix and clean up. I don't know, new coach, new GM. There's at least optimism there for Atlanta somewhat.
And the other thing I'll add is he's a head coach. So,
He
like,
is, yeah.
he's an offensive-minded head coach, but he was able to bring in a great staff with him to Cleveland to really shore up that defense. That was the focal point of the Browns. Oh, my bad for him.
You're good.
That was the focal point for the Browns' pretty much identity.
And I think it was key keeping Ulbrich there as your defensive
Ulbrich
coordinator.
staying there. You bring in
Like-
Bill Callahan as an offensive line coach.
Yeah. One of the best O-line coaches.
They're
going to
want to run the ball. And they will be able to do that very well
You have the
with
O-line, and
Bijan.
you have the running back for that. You have a quarterback that needs help. Definitely hand that ball.
So, like
over.
you said, the biggest thing is just going to be able to find out who is going to be that guy that is going to be at the helm of that offense, a quarterback. Is it Penix? Is it a guy they bring in from free agency? That is what we need to find out. But overall, like the hiring, again, I'm with you. I still have two guys ahead of it that I like better. But at the end of the day, I'm going to give it a B+.
Yeah, and then, again, we're close. Like you said, he's third on our list. I gave him an A-. So I think we're pretty similar there.
Moving on to the Baltimore Ravens and Jesse Minter. What are you going here?
I gave this hire an A. It is my second best hire of the cycle. Jesse Minter was one of the guys that I thought belonged on the top list of names when it comes to head coach searches. I think if you in the beginning of the year, like you're not a playoff team, so like you go into Black Monday with no head coach. I think if you're one of those teams, Jesse Minter should have been one of the first guys you call for an interview. I thought it's a great hire, especially great hire that he is familiar with the place. He's familiar with Baltimore and a lot of the players there. He was there literally right before he went to the Chargers. So I think he's a great culture guy. He's a hardball guy, so you're not really shying away from anything different culture-wise. You're just bringing in some new ideas, maybe some refreshing ideas. So I thought it was a great hire. I gave it an A, the second best hire to me in this cycle.
I'm giving Jesse Minter an A-. He is my second best hiring as well.
Okay.
He definitely was a name at the top of the list. Being a Bills fan, I wasn't fully on board of going after another defensive coach after just moving on from Sean McDermott. If we had not had Sean McDermott prior to this, he'd been at the top of my list. I think from a Ravens standpoint, they see what Mike McDonald is doing with the Seattle Seahawks and are like, how did we let that out the door?
The McVay of defense.
They are trying to make up for that by hiring Jesse Minter. Yeah. Again, like you mentioned, he was in that building. You have to bring that guy back because Minter and McDonald went hand in hand with that defense. Who's to say
that was a good defense in Los Angeles?
100%.
Like
it was. He did a lot with limited talent.
Yes, absolutely. I would say so.
The schematic ways that he would call a defense are next level. He was able to get the best out of his players.
Yeah.
I love this hire for the Ravens. Again, it's my second highest rated coaching hire. I'm gonna give this one an A-.
Yeah, and again, second highest rated hire for me as well. I'm giving it an A.
Moving on to the Buffalo Bills and Joe Brady.
Yeah. I am giving this one a D. It is my last place hire of this cycle. I thought it was a very bland hire. I thought it really made no sense. I still don't think it makes sense. I think if you were going to fire Sean McDermott, just promoting Joe Brady was not the answer. It just doesn't equate to me. That's why it's last for me. I think it is the least inspiring hire out of the entire cycle. I don't see why Bills fans would be excited about this. That's why it's a D for me. It's last place for me.
Yeah, you're insane for thinking it's last place.
It absolutely is.
It's a C-. I have it at 7th on my list. I'm not in. I won't. I'll start off by saying, was it the best hire that they could have made? Not even in the question.
Wasn't even good.
He had a top 2 offense for the past 3 years, but yeah, he was
as
good
the entire fan base was complaining about him. The fan base didn't even want him. So let's promote him and let's act like we're happy about it because that's the only way we could cope with what happened is basically what's happening right now.
They interviewed him. I mean, a lot of more information came out after the fact, but I'm not going to talk about this from a Bills fan. I'm talking about like the interview process and that they interviewed him as a coach that wasn't as a Bills coach. And if you do, the Ravens were going to hire him if they didn't get Minter.
No, they
and the Broncos were going to hire him as the OC. And Sean Payton, out of all of the people,
the Ravens were not going to hire Joe Brady as a head coach. I promise you that.
They were.
I promise you they weren't.
Okay. Why did he interview twice?
You could look at a lot of coaches that interviewed several times.
But besides the point, the Broncos were going to hire him as the offensive coordinator and let him call plays.
Yeah, I think
Sean Payton was going to let somebody else call plays. When has he ever done that?
That's fine. As a coordinator, I'm not ripping on him as a coordinator.
But if you're going to lose the guy, it's the same thing talking about McDonald though. Like you had Jim Harbaugh.
Stop.
I'm not saying he's going to be to the level. I'm not saying he's going to be to the level of McDonald. But if you have a guy in your building that's going to leave and go be a head coach somewhere else that is good. Why would you not just promote him?
Because if my whole thing is, it would be one thing if let's just say hypothetically, right? McDermott's like, I'm kind of tired of coaching, whatever. I want to leave. Then promote Joe Brady. Then I think that makes a lot more sense, and I wouldn't be as harsh on it. My whole thing is how it all went about. To sit there, see that your quarterback's the reason that you're firing your coach, and then to promote the OC.
The quarterback's the reason we fired our coach?
Yeah.
Why?
That's literally what your owner said. Your owner said if you would have
The owner said we hit a wall.
The owner said if you would have beaten the Broncos, he would have stayed. Why did you lose to the Broncos? Because of your quarterback. Therefore, the quarterback is the reason the coach got fired.
The owner's
because
an idiot.
And I'll agree with you there.
Yeah.
I'll agree
So
with you
I
there.
take nothing with what he says with a grain of salt.
I take what he said to be true because what does he have? Like, what does he have to lie about? He says it how he views it and how it is. He views it as if we beat the Broncos, he still has a job. You did not beat the Broncos because your quarterback turned over the ball several
He
times.
also gave up 31 points.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Your quarterback was the reason you lost that game. If it wasn't for Josh Allen, Sean McDermott would still be employed, at least for one more week. If he would have done something after that,
Yeah, and if it
I don't
weren't
know.
for Josh Allen, he would have been unemployed a long time ago.
Sure, yeah, and I'm not saying
again,
he's not. I'm saying for this game and this season specifically, today, Sean McDermott is not employed because Josh Allen had a bad game. That is a fact, according to the owner. That is what happened. That is a fact. So to fire your head coach and promote the OC that, one, the fan base was not liking in the middle of the season, and two, that the owner just blamed for drafting your supposed number one receiver, to go and promote him, it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make logic to me. Again, if it was another circumstance where McDermott kind of just resigns and then you promote him, I think that's different. It's how they went about everything that makes zero sense to me. That's why it's as low as it is for me.
So you're not even basing it off the fact that the offense is still going to be good.
I'm not saying that. I literally told you.
But then how are you going to give it?
I think you're still a playoff team.
But then how is that?
Because
a bad
I don't think
hire?
you got any better. I could look at all these other hirings and I could say, you know what? If I'm a fan of that team, I can at least say, you know what? This is something new. This could be refreshing. This might start something. I cannot say that about Joe Brady. It's going to be the same Bills it always is. You're going to be a good team. You're going to be a playoff team. You did not get any better with this hiring. If anything, I think you risked getting worse only because of his lack of head coaching experience. I don't want to go as far as to say I guarantee it because I don't. Like, I think he's a good offensive mind. I thought he was a good offensive coordinator. I thought the fan base was kind of hating on him a little bit. I like him as an offensive coordinator. It just doesn't make sense to me to go about it the way the Bills went about it and then to just promote him. I don't think you got better by doing that. And I don't have... If I was a Bills fan, I would not have any optimism about this. I would think we just did a whole circle and we're back to where we were.
We're not even close to where we were. But again, this is going back...
Oh my... You guys say this every year. It's the same...
I'm talking about it from a culture standpoint. It's not the same at all.
Yes, it is.
We're bringing in a defensive coordinator that's going to completely change how we play defense.
I'll give you...
We're completely
talking about the
switching
hire
schemes.
itself. I'm talking about the hire
and he's the
itself.
one that hired
Look, if
Jim
we
Leonard.
were to go
Again,
through
let me
and
say
list
something.
it...
I have it as a C minus.
If we were to go through...
You're acting
and
like I
list it-
gave this
No,
grade an A plus. I gave this
you
grade a
called me
C minus.
crazy for
It's not
stating
last.
facts.
If
It is.
if you've made
It
it this far,
absolutely is.
Joe Brady the worst hiring
Please let us
in
know.
this
Yeah, please
in
let
this
us know.
process? Because there's no shot that
See,
he is
think
the
that's
worst.
so insane.
The
that
worst.
you think there's zero shot
Why?
that it's the worst. And I just explained
None.
every reason why. It's that you don't want to just admit, and maybe your brain
no,
is telling
but you're
you
not
that,
telling.
like,
You're
he's
not
kind
saying
of
the
right.
truth.
What did I lie about?
You said we're back to where we were.
Yes.
How are we back to
absolutely.
where we were?
How did you guys
He's a
change?
completely
how did you
different
guys
culture.
get better?
We got to
Other than the
The
DC.
offense is the same thing, and it's
Yes.
that offense has never ever been a problem.
Yeah, as you guys were complaining about it in the season. I like what is
But
it?
what did I say
is
the
it?
other
You
time?
can't
I literally
complain.
gave you an answer to this, though. I
listen,
gave you an answer to
you
this.
cannot
I gave you an
complain
answer to this.
all season about an offense. Promote the offensive corner and be like, you know what?
I gave you an answer to
like
the
him.
question because you asked me this the other
Sure.
time. We have become spoiled with the
stop.
offense.
I completely rebuke that.
No, because that's the
remember,
truth.
You were like, what we had, like one game where we scored less than 20. You had 5 games where we scored less than 20. That was over. That's over a quarter of the season where we scored less than 20 points. There was a lot of winnable games.
We were
where
in first place in points per game.
You guys were complaining. You guys,
That's
were you
what
guys
my
not
point
complaining?
is right now. That's what I'm talking
It's
about.
last place. It's D. It's so uninspiring. It's
Look,
like
you're changing the
bland,
subject now.
unseasoned chicken.
You're changing the subject. Yeah, and you know what? The last person you said that about ended up being the best head coach
But
that
at
was
least
hired
that
last
was
year.
no.
Yes, no, there's no difference.
I didn't. Yes, there is.
Why?
Because I was saying that to him as a personality thing. It had nothing to do with his coaching. I liked his coaching. I said him personality wise with that whole
But if you're gonna-
Duval thing, that's what made me have beef with him. It had nothing to do with his coaching.
Timeout. If you're going to say that Stefanski didn't really have much help on offense with the Browns,
Okay.
what is he supposed to do play calling wise to throw the ball?
I'm sorry. Do you have
Dalton
Josh Allen?
Kincaid was hurt.
Wait, I think you're mistaken that I think he's bad. I'm not saying he's
No,
a good offensive mind.
So that's what I'm confused about. Because if
Okay.
he's a good offensive mind,
Yeah.
we're bringing in a guy to completely change the defense.
Sure.
The defense is going to be completely
You're
different.
banking on
So if
that
the
you're gonna
offense-
have the talent
If
for that
we
to
don't have
continue.
one of the worst defenses in the league, yes, we should be better.
Sure, but you're also banking on your GM not doing what he's been doing the last several years and not completely shanking on the draft and the free agency.
I think a lot of it had yes, don't get me wrong.
Wait,
the
did,
roster,
wait. Did you not just say take everything the owner said with a grain of salt?
What?
Because I should have not cut you off. My bad. Finish where you
What do
go.
you mean?
Finish. No, finish where you go. Finish. I should have not cut you off. That's on me.
But you're going to say that
Yes.
he said that he has
Yeah,
full
no.
trust in him.
Please finish saying what you were going to say.
The defense has been the issue for the last couple of years, and I've
No,
said it
I'll
for
agree
all
with you
along.
there. Yeah.
We're bringing in a guy that's completely changing the defense. It's not Joe Brady, but
Sure.
the guy that Joe Brady hired. Joe Brady's not a defensive guy. So you got to
Yeah.
bring in somebody else
Yes.
to solve that issue.
Yes.
If we aren't in the bottom fourth of the league in defense this year, how are we not improved from
But
what we
again,
were
that
last
goes back
year?
to my point that you have to bank on your
okay,
GM
but this is
getting
what-
the personnel to better that defense, which he has shown he cannot do.
This is what I was going to say, though.
Sure.
I think a lot of it had to do with schematics. I don't think that defense was the same way you would complain about a soft zone with Joe Witt.
Yes.
With a defense from the year before that was really good or good,
No.
good,
No.
better.
Sure. Yeah. A little
that's-
bit of garbage is better than a lot of garbage.
But that's what I'm like. You guys were probably the 20th ranked defense the year you went to the NFC Championship. Last year, you were one of the worst.
16th,
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We were probably
Around there.
in the mid 20s last year in defense.
Yeah.
If we're at 15, why can't we do the same
But then
thing that
you're
you're doing?
banking on getting the personnel for that. How can you trust your GM?
Because
to
the
go
guy
and
that's
get the
because
personnel
the
for
guy that was on defense last year was at the head of everything. He got to make the decisions for everything
for the defense, correct?
for the defense.
right.
So now
But
you're
that-
bringing
what
in
does that have to do with personnel?
because I think he wanted the wrong people. I don't
What?
think that defense worked well. Like
You
McDermott.
didn't have the right personnel. I think
How?
it's both. I think
no,
it's both.
we
I
had
think
the
it's both.
personnel.
No.
In terms of player wise, the players weren't good enough. We had the people in place that could play the defense that McDermott wanted to play. They just weren't good
I don't-
players.
That's what I'm saying.
But those are who McDermott wanted. Like those were
Sure.
his guys.
Sure.
That's what I'm saying. We have a new guy in place that's going to want different people. And if we're not in the 20s,
Who's the new guy in
defense-
place that's going to
Jim
want different
Leonard.
people? Okay, but isn't the GM supposed to have more say now? Supposedly,
Yes, but you're going to act like they don't have conversations about the types
they
of
do
players
for
they
sure.
want.
I'm just saying. It seems like you're banking a lot on your GM all of a sudden knowing how to draft and work free agency when he has shown the last several years he cannot.
I wouldn't even say the draft's bad. The Keon Coleman pick is the really
By the way,
bad
which
one.
supposedly was Joe Brady's decision.
But I'm saying, other than the Keon Coleman pick, which one's really been a bad pick? There hasn't really been a terrible pick.
it doesn't. And I'm not hating on Maxwell Harrison. It doesn't help that he was injured a lot of the year,
and he played good when he was playing.
I'm trying to think the year before. Help me out here. Who's the year-
Kincaid's one of the top 5 tight ends in the league.
No,
When he
stop
was
it.
on the field-
Stop it.
Okay.
Repeat that. Do you think Dalton Kincaid's a top 5 tight end in the league?
The guy that loves stats. He had the
Oh, no.
highest.
Wait.
He
I
had,
don't
no,
love
no, no, no.
stats.
The-
That's crazy. I don't love stats.
He had the highest EWA
no,
when he was
stop.
on the
You
field.
can't for the.
you know what? The estimated wins
Reverse
added.
psychology for the guy that hates stats. You can't bring up stats. So
The guy
eliminate all.
He
stats.
was the number 1 tight end in estimated
No,
wins
but I don't
added
want to hear
last year.
stats from the guy that hates stats.
No, but all right,
Who
fine.
else- who else did he
besides
draft?
like an
Who
actual
else did he
besides like
draft?
an actual stat? We were only lost 1 game last year when Kincaid was out. Or when Kincaid was playing.
Yeah, and a cupcake schedule. Congratulations. It wasn't the Patriots schedule. Let's be clear. It wasn't the Patriots schedule. It was still a cupcake schedule. It still wasn't that good of a schedule. You had competition here,
we beat the
competition
Panthers
there.
40-9, who almost
Who
beat the
finished
Rams.
below 500?
the
The Panthers? Yes. But Yeah, it was below 500, was it
And
not?
almost beat the Rams in the playoffs.
Who is below 5? Who was
or the
below
Bucks.
500?
Who did they play in the playoffs? The Rams.
The Rams.
They almost
it's
beat
a
'em.
playoff game any given Sunday.
Exactly.
Any given Sunday. As
We beat them 49
got
in Carolina.
thrashed
We're spending way too
by
much
the
time
Falcons.
on the Joe Brady hire.
Thrashed
and
by the Dolphins.
I knew this would happen. Again,
Thrashed
recapping
by
this,
the Eagles.
who? We lost
you
by 2
guys.
points.
Your offense
We lost
was
by 2 points.
was stagnant.
Against
and
a
who
really good
ran
defense.
that offense? Your next head
It
coach.
was a really good defense.
Point given. They weren't last year's defense.
The Eagles were a really good
They
defense. last
they
year.
weren't last year's defense. Let's not act like that was last year's
Still a
defense.
good defense.
It was good. It was good. You still scored less than
You just
14
can never have a
points.
bad game, I guess.
No,
Ever.
not
Not
if
allowed
you
to.
promote your OC to head
So he
coach,
just,
no.
as soon as he makes one mistake, he's done.
No, because he's still a good play call. Like this one,
But that's what I don't understand.
Because
why
you,
is that
were you
not-
guys not a good team last year?
But if you're gonna,
Were you guys not? A
Yes,
good
we were.
Yes, and you're going to be a good team this year. You did not get better. That's
How-
my whole thing.
How do we not get better with what I was just saying?
If
we aren't in the mid-20s,
your brain
if we're not
will not
in,
let you
you're just
comprehend
you hate
what
the
I'm
Bills
saying.
and you don't want to
Why
admit
would
it
I hate the
because
Bills?
I like them.
What you think I think about you that much?
Yes.
That I care about
Well,
Buffalo.
I think about
Buffalo.
you that much. That's why I
Buffalo.
hate the Commanders.
I know it's obvious you hate the Commanders.
You hate the Bills
th-
too. It's okay.
No one thinks about Buffalo.
Okay.
No one thinks about Buffalo. I don't know what to tell you.
Well, no one thinks
I know
about
that
the
you.
commies
I
of it.
know that you think that like you guys are like the NFL's victims about everything. No one
No, I don't.
thinks about the Bills. I know you think like it's always the refs versus the Bills. It's always everyone versus the Bills. No one thinks
I'm
about
one of the only
Bills.
Bills fans that thinks it wasn't a catch.
I'll give you that. I respect you for that because you are one of the very few Bills fans that were like, you know what, that's not a catch. I'll give.
I don't.
But everything else though, you are very delusional.
All I'm
about.
saying is by the way, what you are saying.
Sure.
Final thing, and we're moving
Yes,
on.
please.
How do we not improve if we aren't in the mid-20s defensively, and
If.
we're
Hard
still
if.
a good offense at where we were this year?
Yes.
How are we not better?
You're not.
Okay, that
You're
doesn't
not.
make sense. Whatever you just said. How like the,
You said we were ending it. That's why I didn't answer.
No, but like
'Cause
we.
no. We're moving on. We said we're moving on because.
But we literally
your
are if we
brain
do.
is not.
You said yes to
comprehending-
both.
Yes to
So
what?
That if we have a better than the
If
mid-20s,
hard if. That's a massive if.
like middle 20 or whatever.
That is a massive.
my
if.
final grade
We
for
could play
Joe
ifs
Brady.
all day, every day.
You
if
are
is
the
a
one
wonderful
sitting
game
in here
to
saying
play.
you like the Jim Leonard hire.
I do.
So I don't
It's a good
understand.
hire. I think it's better than a Babbage. That was his name, right?
Yeah, and I mean he's the Mike LaFleur. Like he didn't call the defense; he called the defense. It was McDermott's defense.
Well, halfway through, it was McDermott calling the plays.
It's McDermott's defense.
Sure,
and
but at the
Bobby
same
called
time,
the plays.
it wasn't a bad defense schematically.
Yes, it was.
The play calling was bad. The
play
personnel
calling was
was
bad, and
the personnel was bad.
the play
The personnel was bad.
the
It
players
was.
weren't great, and
That's all.
the scheme itself just wasn't
Sure.
good.
Yeah, and I agree. That's all I was saying.
Yeah. So why would you not move
'Cause
on
you're not
from
gonna
the
get the
guy
personnel.
that was doing that? And
Because you would need to get the right personnel for that, and I don't think it's going to happen.
okay. Joe
So,
Brady, I'm
yeah.
giving a C minus. He is number 7 on my list.
Joe Brady, I'm giving a D at his last place for me.
Moving on, finally, to the Cleveland Browns is Todd Monken. I'll start this one off. I'm giving it a D. I did not like this hire at all. It is the 9th ranked on my list. I don't even know where to start with this. Like, that one came out of left field. They had candidates dropping left and right out of the mix. Like, I don't think he's ever been a head coach. Has he?
Not to my knowledge.
Like-
Fun fact, he is the cousin of Army's head coach, Jeff Monken.
Oh, that makes it even worse.
Yeah.
I just... if you want to talk about an uninspiring move, in at least my opinion, and the argument that you're making about an uninspiring move by the case of, well, it's something different. Yes, this is something different.
Yeah.
What is it going to solve, though? Like, you're going to bring in a 60-something-year-old head coach to mesh
really
with
that
this
old?
really young Browns team. Like, the fit itself doesn't make sense at all to me. And the hiring came out of nowhere. Like, I don't like this hire one bit. It's really close to the LaFleur hire. The only reason I don't have it as low as LaFleur is because LaFleur has proven as a play caller he is not good, in my opinion. And I mean, it's not even in my opinion. He wasn't good. Monken has been a good play caller. So that's the only reason he has the edge above LaFleur for me.
I think we're pretty similar here. I am. Hear me out here. I originally gave it a B minus. The more I sat on it, I was like, you know what? I'll give it a C plus. It's seventh for me.
This doesn't even deserve a C.
It's seventh for me. I think he is a decent to good offensive mind. Definitely, I don't hate it. It's not that I hate it. Would it be my first choice? Most likely not. I give it the same grade as LaFleur. Again, like you, I think it's a little better because he did call plays. He did call them at a respectable level to where it's like, all right, this is good play calling, not great play calling. It's not bad play calling. And you take an OC from a rival team. I always like that pick from a rival team. So you give them a little more of a disadvantage. I don't know. To me, this is a pretty bland hire for me as well. I give it. There's really not much else for me to say. I kind of agree with a lot of things you say.
I just and to the point of he's been a good play caller.
Yeah.
Where's he been play callers at?
Baltimore
and Georgia.
Georgia, yeah.
Two of the best offenses potentially.
Yeah.
In respected sports, basically. Yeah. I'm not. You want to talk about personnel? He's had really, really, really good personnel to work with.
Yeah.
So going to a team like the Browns where they do not have that in their favor.
Yeah. I mean, and again, I think the reason why I'm maybe. I don't even think that's a reason. I definitely put into
I'm going to say, I have no idea why you...
I'm also putting into consideration that I really do not like the Browns GM. I know there's a lot of work he's going to have to do. So I may be throwing him a bone a little bit here. Because I'm like, you're going into a place where you're not going to have a lot of help. And maybe to your point, like, should that count against him? Maybe. I don't blame you for counting that against him.
That's a big thing for me.
Yeah,
with the
sure. I can't blame you
with the
there.
Cardinals, though, I don't think their team's has a good enough talent either. And LaFleur's not going to...
But I think... the Cardinals can. I know we're bouncing around a little here. I think the Cardinals could at least get to having good personnel within the next couple of years. Though
they got to figure out a quarterback,
and at least with the Browns, they have good young talent.
They got to figure out a quarterback too. Is it going to?
They do.
Is it going to be Shador or are we moving on?
They do, but at least as much as I do not like their GM, I can at least tip the cap to this last draft class was a pretty good class.
Yeah, that's the only reason he has a job right now.
Yes, I'll at least give you that. So maybe that's why I kind of threw him a bone as well here, where it's like, all right, you might have some opportunities here to maybe work something out. Quarterback situation is a giant question mark. I don't know. To me, it's slightly better than LaFleur, so that's why I gave it the same grade and it's a little higher.
But the fact that you're talking about I don't want to, all right, whatever, I'm not even going to say it. How do you give Joe Brady worse than both of those? I just don't think that's insane.
I already explained it.
Final with Monken, I'm giving it a D, and it's number 9 on my list.
I can at least say for Browns fans, with this hire, it gives you a little something to be like, okay, maybe this one could be different. That's why I have it higher than Joe Brady as well. It's 7th for me, C plus.
Okay, we're not talking about it.
Yeah, we're not. There's no one thinks about Buffalo. There's no need.
The Las Vegas Raiders.
Yeah.
Just hired Clint Kubiak. I mean, it's been announced for a while now, but it was made official either yesterday or this morning.
Yeah.
I gave that one a B. It is number 4 on my list. I really do like the hire of Clint Kubiak. Super Bowl champion Clint Kubiak.
Really good offense.
Really put a showing out in that Super Bowl. They couldn't score in the red zone, but was able to drive down the field with ease against a defense that was really good all season long. I like the weapons that Vegas has, and I think that they're going to fit into what Kubiak likes to do. He showed in the Super Bowl game specifically, we're going to run the ball. You got Ashton Jeanty. You're going to have to build up that offensive line. Who did they really highlight during that game? A.J. Barner was the showstopper in that game.
I've been saying
Brock
for
Bowers with him
a couple months now.
He's good.
A.J. Barner, dude. I think he's one of the most slept on
just imagine that scheme with Brock Bowers now. Yeah. You definitely have to find some outside weapons, and going to be pretty much irreplaceable to find another JSN. But
you never know.
No,
It's gonna be
I
hard.
think we know.
It's going to be hard, but you never know.
The Brock Bowers, Ashton Genzi fit really nice into what they're going to want to do on offense. The biggest question mark as to why I don't have this higher is I want to see what they do defensively. He was a great offensive play caller. I want to see how he thinks schematically about defenses. I know he's not going to be calling them, but I want to know what type of defense he personally is going to want. The people that he's going to bring in to call the defense. And it's his first time being a head coach. I have him at number 4. The reason I have him as high as I do is because I really do like the scheme he runs. But there are still question marks, which is why he stays at 4.
Funny you bring up who's going to hire a defense. He just so happens to be coming from a team that had a very great defense and a great defensive mind. I'm sure he's going to pick someone from that tree to come be his DC. So, I don't know. Put 2 and 2 together, get someone from a very good defense that you just came from to come call your plays.
Yeah.
Over
but
in
again,
Vegas.
the common theme of this video, personnel.
Yes.
That team is one of the team.
Fair point. Fair point.
And you're probably going to lose your best asset on defense.
Yes. And I think it's time. I think it's time. You're in full rebuild here.
Now,
Get what you
that's
can.
what, like if you're able to recoup a first plus.
It sounds like they're looking for a Micah Parsons type.
Yeah, that's
deal,
insane. But
which, if you could talk your way, I don't think it's impossible.
I think
you
he
could-
gets a first and a third, maybe.
I definitely think it should not be as much as Micah. However, I think they could talk their way into getting something pretty similar, though.
I think a first and a third gets it done. But regardless, I agree with you. There, it's time to move on. You're gonna have to rebuild from the bottom up, and that starts with getting draft capital and moving on from Max Crosby. All the play calling stuff is there. It's gonna be what he does as a head coach
And getting the right personnel, but that's not his job. But
Yep.
you definitely contribute to that.
Uh-huh.
I'm with you on placing him at number 4. He is my 4th best hire. I have him graded a little higher. I gave him an A-. I gave this hiring an A-. I think we are thinking alike here. I love what he did schematically. He's coming from a great culture. I think he's going to bring a lot of that culture to Vegas. And they really have a great opportunity here, Vegas does, to kind of start fresh with a pretty solid offensive mind and just start to build what you want to build. He's a very respectable coach around the NFL. If I'm a Raiders fan, I'd be pretty excited about this hire. It's a very hopeful hire. So that's why it's 4th for me, and I'm giving it A-.
Yeah, no, we've been pretty similar. Other
The
than Joe
top
Brady
4,
so far.
or my bad, I don't know what your 1 is, but I'm starting to get a sense on what it is.
Well,
right
with
now,
with the remaining people, I'd be very shocked if it wasn't.
Right
the guy.
now, it looks like 2, 3, and 4. We have the exact same.
Yeah, no, and I think we're gonna definitely have one.
Yeah, for sure.
With that being said, though, we're moving on to the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
They hired Jeff Hafley. You can start this one off.
This one's number 8 for me. I gave it a C+. I know I gave 3 coaches C+. It's just how I viewed it and how I put them in what order. The reason he's 8th for me, I have him a little bit ahead of LaFleur because at least he has that head coaching experience. Yes, it was in college.
And it wasn't good.
It wasn't good. However, with today's college football landscape, it's going to be hard to make Boston College a contender. And he did better than what I'm blanking on
Bill
his
O'Brien.
name. Bill O'Brien's doing now. Like, he did better than what Bill O'Brien's doing now. So, like, Bill O'Brien was a head football coach at Penn State and in the NFL. Like, I'm not crazy about this hire. It makes sense with who they hired at GM. So, like, kind of connect the dots here. He ran a good defense. Did you have good personnel there? Yeah, but just because you have good personnel doesn't necessarily mean you're a good play caller. He was a good play caller. He at least somewhat has that experience of being a head coach. Did a decent to respectable job. Wouldn't say it was good. Wouldn't say it was bad necessarily. That's why it's 8 for me and why it's a C+.
I also have Hafley at 8. I wasn't as generous with the grade. I gave it a D+.
Jesus, dude.
We've seen him as a head coach. It is at the college level, but he was 2-26. Or 22-26.
No, he wasn't.
22-26.
Yeah.
Through like 3 seasons,
Something
I think,
like
as
that,
the head
yeah.
coach. It's not very good.
Not great, no.
Again, it's at the college level.
Again, it's Boston
Game's a little
College,
different.
like-
I understand that, but if if you're a guy that's going to get hired to the NFL right away, and to
Well,
be
as a
to be a coordinator,
and it
obviously,
worked out.
he is great defensively.
Yeah.
And I think we've kind of said this about a couple guys so far. I think he would have been better at staying a coordinator. I don't know. I mean, we do know. We know what he is like as a head coach. And again, I think it goes back to it was Boston College, but it's the Dolphins. So like I don't know, like you as the Dolphins organization have completely flipped the mindset of what the Dolphins were. You guys were this high-powered offense that had a terrible defense. You're changing guards now. You're moving more towards a defensively heavy team, and you're going to have to figure out a quarterback question. Tyreek Hill's probably gone. Jalen Waddle was almost traded at the trade deadline. Your offensive line's not great.
Here's the thing.
Devon Achane's really good, but he barely stays healthy.
Here's the thing, and this is pretty much off topic, but we're in a group chat. I brought this up in a group chat, so I'm going to bring it up a little bit. From a GM perspective, out of all the vacant GM spots, there were only like 3. There actually wasn't really much. Out of like the 3 or 4 vacant GM spots there were, to me, Miami was the most desirable GM spot only because that was the only destination that was available where you could fully restart. All the other spots that were open, you have to use the toys or tools that previous regimes had. Personally, me, if I'm a GM, I want to go into a situation where I could fully restart. You at least get that here in Miami, and you couldn't say that about the other places that were open.
I just think from a head coach hiring perspective,
head
it was
coach
an underwhelming.
very different than GM.
It was an underwhelming hire, and that is why I gave it a D+. Mainly because we've seen him as a head coach in the past, and he has had a losing record. 4 games under a losing record to be exact. In review, I'm giving Jeff Hafley a D+, and he's at my number 8 spot.
He's at my number 8 spot. I'm giving him a C+. We're both not the biggest fans of this.
Again, I was a little more harsher on grades, and I said that at the beginning.
You were pretty harsh on these.
They're not inspiring to me. A C is the median. Like, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Anything above a C, it was like, okay.
No, I'm with you.
And then anything below a C, it was like,
yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm exactly with you there.
So, like, that's why I give it a D+. I think you were a little more generous.
For sure, I would say. Because, again, like, I'm also kind of looking at this if I were a fan of those teams' perspective. Like, how would I have a lot of experience in new head coaches. So, I've had my fair shares of reacting to new head coaching hires. So, I kind of put myself in that spot of what would I feel like if that was my new head coach. So maybe that's why I'm a little generous on these. I'm like, okay, something new. It's different from what we had and whatnot.
Fair. Moving on, we got the New York Giants. John Harbaugh. I'd be shocked if you didn't tell me what you're about to tell me.
Dead last. No, I'm kidding. First place, John Harbaugh. I gave it A+. Like, the Giants, I hate to say it, home run with this hire. I thought it was a little harsh to hire him. We somewhat saw it coming, but still fire him. Yeah. Sorry. Came to as a little surprise when they fired him. There were still like rumors of whoever lost that game was going to get fired. Kind of half thought they were joking. Turned out it was true. But yeah, no, this was. I thought when we first saw that he got fired, immediately I was like, I don't care who you are. If you have a vacant head coach spot, that's your first call right there, and you. Not blank check, but pretty much as close as you could get to blank check of like, what do you want? What do we need to give you for you to sign this paper? What can you really say about John Harbaugh that people don't already know who are watching? It's an A+ hire. You get a Super Bowl head coach, a very respected head coach around the league, a guy who has forgotten more football than 99% of people will ever know. It's a great hire. I'm mad that he went to the Giants. That's a great hire. It's number 1. I give it an A+.
John Harbaugh is also at number 1 for me. I gave it an A. The only reason I did not give it an A+ is his age. That's the only reason I didn't give him the A+, because I don't think he's a guy that you're going to have for the next 10 years. He's a guy that you're going to have for probably 4 or 5 years. You could be good during that time, but in those 4, he's going to be like 70. So, that's the only reason I didn't give it an A+. My number 1 spot, obviously, I thought he was the best coach on the market, and the Giants went and got him.
Yeah.
There's pieces there, too. Like, that team
Yeah.
has pieces.
Yeah.
So a guy like Harbaugh coming in to be able to change the culture of just a team that has done nothing but lose in the past 4 years, other than when they snuck into the playoffs that one year with Daniel Jones.
Beat Kirk Cousins.
But, like, I mean, it's just a great hire. Like, everybody knows who John Harbaugh is. We don't really have to go too in-depth with it. He's won a Super Bowl. He's made runs in the playoffs. He's had great teams, great defenses, great offenses. Like, there's really not much he hasn't done. You said a great quote of he's forgotten 99% of the stuff that 99% of people. I've just ruined it, and I'm sorry. But, yeah, you know what he said.
Yeah.
I don't,
If
honestly.
not, rewind it a minute. You'll find it.
It's a great hire. It's number one. It's an A.
Yeah.
Moving on. The Pittsburgh Steelers hiring Big Mike McCarthy. What are you giving this one?
I'm giving this a B-. It is my 6th ranked hire here. I've said for a while now, even when he was coaching in Dallas, I think Mike McCarthy's a little overhated. Now, he deserves a good amount of criticism that he gets. Don't get me wrong. I don't think they smashed this out of the park again. B-, my 6th ranked hire out of 10. But he's a playoff head coach. He has shown that year after year after year, he will get you to the playoffs.
And what does he do when he gets?
I would say what happens after that, that's a different story. However, you pretty much know you're going to get to the playoffs, especially the Steelers being the team that
Mediocrity.
guarantee goes to the playoffs and loses in the first round. Just maybe that changes. Who knows? You definitely got to get better personnel offensively, in my opinion. And I think overall it's a cool story for a die-hard like Steelers fan like him. Like, that would be like me or you, like that would be like you being the GM of the Bills or me being the GM of the Commanders. Like don't you think if you were to get hired to run the team that you grew up loving, like you would die to succeed in that position? Yeah. I think it's the same here. Like, you can see how emotional he got in that press conference. Like, very much like us. Like, we would do anything for our teams. I think he feels the same about the Steelers. Like, I think that will give him the little extra oomph he needs to maybe win a couple playoff games. Therefore, I gave him B-, my 6th ranked head coach and hire.
Mike McCarthy is also my 6th ranked.
It's kind of creepy how
a
lot of these we got the same.
The only difference is I have it at a flat C.
Okay.
And it's because exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
He gets you to the playoffs, but when you get to the playoffs, what happens? What are the Steelers? You've literally done that the past however many years, and you're going to hire the guy that does the exact same thing. Yeah. It's not a bad thing because you make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
But you're not really changing much either.
No, you're not.
So, like, it's a C. Like,
I think that's fair.
You're the same spot. So, like, again, I think he also got overhated on a little bit.
Yeah.
But when it comes down to it, he is pretty similar, success rate at least, when it comes to the playoffs, to the guy that just left there.
Yeah.
And he's older. Like, I would have thought they'd gone a little bit of a younger direction.
I honestly didn't know what to expect with this, because the last time they were looking for a head coach, I was 4 years old. So I genuinely did not know.
They've had 3 coaches in the past 60 years.
Yeah. So I genuinely did not know.
He was the 4th.
I genuinely did not know, like, how they even approached this.
Yeah.
Because kind of similar to the Ravens, but, like,
the Bills have had one for long. It's been like 10 years.
Yeah.
So, like, I know. I know exactly how you feel.
Yeah, so I honestly did not know what to expect when it came to the Steelers hire. I don't think they made a necessarily bad decision. I don't think it was great.
I don't think it was bad or good. That's why it's a C.
I think that's fair.
So, it's 6, though.
Yeah,
but again, like, midway is a 6 for me. Like, 6 is a C.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
But I think the biggest thing with this is it opens up the door for Aaron Rodgers to come back. I don't think any other hire would have done that.
I think there's about, you could probably count on one hand, less than the amount of fingers you have on one hand, the amount of head coaches that could convince Aaron Rodgers, Jason Pierre-Paul. I'm sorry, that was messed up. I shouldn't have said that.
I'm not gonna do it.
Regardless, I think there are a very limited amount of head coaches that could convince Aaron Rodgers to come back. I think this is the top of the top guy to be like. For all we know, Aaron could still retire. That has been announced.
I was gonna say,
if I were to bet money, though, I don't know. I think he could convince him.
But I was going to say, also adding to that, whether that's a good or a bad thing.
Yeah.
We don't know. Because him coming back for another... I'm not saying he was horrible
I was
this
to be
year.
fair, he played better than how he played when he was with the Jets. Now, it's the Jets. Everyone plays bad with the Jets. That's my whole thing with Mike LaFleur. But still, like you said, like it wasn't bad. It really wasn't.
No.
And I think part of that has to do with personnel. Like you have to get more talent around there for him. It doesn't help that you traded away George Pickens for pennies and he ends up being Dallas's number one receiver over CeeDee Lamb. Like that doesn't help at all. That's not a good image. Whoever your quarterback is, whether it's Aaron Rodgers or not, you have to get him help.
Yeah, no. And then so the Steelers, Mike McCarthy, I'm giving it a C, and it's at my number 6 spot.
Mike McCarthy to the Steelers is my 6th spot as well, and I'm giving it a B-.
And then to wrap this video up, we've got the Tennessee Titans hiring Robert Saleh. I'll start this one off. I've got it at number 5 with a C+.
I as well got it at number 5 with a B+. I'm a Robert Saleh guy. Even when he was with the Jets, like I thought a lot of it was not on him. Now,
Well, who was it on? The offense?
I was saying now, like
Was it on the offense? Because if that was the case, you need
I
to
mean-
lower your LaFleur grade a
I
little
was
bit.
like, it's hard because it's the Jets. Like, you can look at a million things and be like, that is why.
But Joe Douglas,
Did he do a good job with the Jets? No.
as a head coach, no.
As a head coach, no. However, I think that came with a lot of circumstances. I thought he was very unfairly fired. Like I didn't think that was the right call there. I don't know. I always respected him as a coach. I always liked him as a coach. You could tell he was always a player's coach, very smart defensively, and I think he's a great culture guy as well.
Yeah, he's running the stands before the games.
Yeah, he's a dog. Yeah, I'm higher on Robert Saleh than a lot of other people, so I gave it a B+. As my 5th best hire in this cycle, and I think he will be one of the better hires that they've had over the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I think.
Other than Vrabel, I thought Vrabel was a very good.
Yeah,
coach
and
there.
then they just pulled the trigger.
Yeah,
too
that
quick
was
on him.
And now the GM that did that's working for CBS, so that tells you all you need to know.
Yeah. Again, mine is a C+. I have him at 5. Robert Saleh, like you mentioned, I think I got an unfair end of the stick.
Yeah.
Really, with the Jets.
Yeah.
I gave it a C+, mainly because I love the staff he's brought. He's going to bring in Brian Daboll, and he has Gus Bradley as the defensive
like that
coordinator.
hire.
I think you bring in a very good presence on the defense, on the offense, really setting the time. I mean, it's your defense. You're just going to have Gus Bradley to basically be your right-hand man who has a ton of experience being a head coach, being a coordinator for many, many years. I love the veteran people that they've brought in onto the staff, especially with how young this team is. You're going to need people in there to be able to establish a culture, show these guys the right way to do things in the NFL. Cam Ward's an exciting player. Just got to be able to get him pieces around him to see how that development can work. Again, like I mentioned, I like Daboll in a place where he could potentially help the development of that.
I like him as an OC. I think that's the right position for him.
But at the same time, we've seen it before with him with the Jets. It didn't go to plan. I don't want to put all of the blame on him, but a lot of it's going to go on to him.
You definitely deserve something, yeah.
But that's why it's still a C+ for me.
Yeah.
Like, I like it enough for it to be not a C.
Yeah, and like I said, like I'm a Robert Saleh guy. Like I've liked him since his first stint when he was with San Francisco. I have him 5th as well as a B+. I'm very surprised we have 1 through 6 as the same ranking wise at least.
The only thing that's different is literally I think Joe Brady and whoever your 7 is flipped.
You had LaFleur 9.
LaFleur is 10.
Oh, so 7 through 10 is kind of just mixed.
I think it's just Brady dropped down and the rest of them are in the same because I have
what do you have, Monken?
LaFleur, Monken's 9.
Monken's my 7.
Who's your 8?
Halfley.
Halfley's my 8.
Okay, so out of the 10, we have 7 in the same position.
Mm-hmm.
I did not think that would happen.
I mean, I wasn't shocked.
I thought
I'm
the
not even
top
saying it.
2 for sure we were gonna get right.
Yeah.
I thought for sure like the top 2 we're probably gonna agree on.
Yeah.
Everything else I really didn't know about.
Yeah. It's fair. I kind of thought you would, although you did say you liked McCarthy a couple weeks ago, or you thought he got
I
overhated.
like I said here, like I definitely thought he was overhated a bit.
Again, we have him at 6. It's not
Again,
like we
like
think he's
and
the
I think
greatest hire.
I thought a lot of the criticisms were fair, but I thought some of it was very unfair to him. So I always thought he was a solid head coach. You're a playoff team with him. Like that's what you are.
Mm-hmm.
If that's your head coach, you are a playoff team. It's whatever happens after that, we don't know.
Yeah.
Well, we do know. It's just
Well, that's going to wrap up this video.
yeah. It
Let
was
us
a pretty solid video. I think.
absolutely let us know who your favorite hire and least favorite hires were throughout this cycle.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
Thank you guys for watching. We really appreciate it. Make sure you like, subscribe, share the video. Let us know in the comments what you agree with, what you disagree with, your grades for these hires and their rankings as well. Why don't you comment? Let us know any video ideas you may have for us. We'll think about
Please
shooting
let
it.
us know.
Yeah.
What do you think about like a mock off season for the Bills and the Commanders?
I feel that
Because there's a new app. Shout out to I always forget the name of it. It's like stick to the model.
I'm
Stick
happy
to the model.
you brought that up. I did not know that was a thing. And so
Yes.
the group chat that I actually brought up earlier, I saw on there.
Stick
And
to
I
the
saw all
model.
the different options
I
they
showed
had.
them it.
And I was like, how'd you find out about that?
Someone on Twitter was talking about it.
I was like, what?
Stick to
Because
the- it's such a good app.
Here, to give you insight on the nerd I am and the low life that I am, I used to go on 2 separate websites to do what that one website does.
It's funny that you say that because the guy in that group chat said he used to do the same exact thing.
I would go and order. There was I forget what it's called. There was a website where
Spot track. Or no.
similar. I think I used to use Spot Track to like let me see the averages for the contracts. I definitely use that to help me know like what kind of offers I would
Oh,
send.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Keep talking. I'll find it.
But I would go to a web. Now that you mentioned it, there's 3 websites. So 4 because I would look up players' ages and everything. So no, I would go to one website, act like a GM in a free agency. When
Fanspeak. No.
Yes, is that it?
Is it Fanspeak?
That looks very familiar. Yes. Yep. Fanspeak. That's what I would use. I would do free agency through there. Once I was done with free agency, I
Not
would
a horrible
go-
site.
No, not
it's
at
good.
all. I relied on it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It saw Fanspeak. If you just so happen to be watching this, fans over here, if you're interested in a collab,
Also, stick to the model. We would love one too.
stick the model.
PFF? PSN?
I just saw it
PSF.
today in the group chat, so I do plan on messing around with it a little bit later, because it looks fun, looks interesting. But back to
Very
me
in-depth.
being, yeah, from what I haven't done anything yet, but from what I can see, yeah, very much so. But I used to do Fanspeak free agency. Done with that, do a mock draft, and I would look back on it. I'm like, I could definitely be a GM one day. And that was me working in college football at the time. Yeah, when football just surrounded my life all day, every day.
Yeah. No, but point being, I think it would be fun if we did mock off seasons of the Bills and the Commanders. If you're a fan of another team out there that you want
Yeah.
to see us do a mock off season for, let us know and
sure.
we can definitely do it. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's gonna do it.
Yep. We really appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.